Hey everyone, welcome to my chess stream here on Twitch and lichess. International Master. I will be soon relegated back to FIDE Master. That's the rumor I heard from FIDE anyway. International Master Will Paschall. We are playing blitz here in the morning, blitz and rapid chess. Challenges between 5+3 and 7+3. So everything is good. Last night we had a simul. It was the first time in like 3 weeks or more. Maybe 4 weeks, because there were 2 holidays. At least 3 weeks. It could have been 4 weeks since I did a simul. It seemed like forever, and I'm a little out of practice. But it was tough. Even with a longer time control, I was basically losing on time in a couple of games. So that is always a challenge. But a lot of fun and some interesting games to go. 25 boards. There were some interesting games for sure. So I stayed up a little bit later looking at a few of the games from last night. We've got challenges, Troll in a Roll. It's 5+5 chess 960, casual, Ayeste casual 6+3 standard, and Lousy Dirty Cheater is also challenging me to casual 7+3. I might as well just read out the challenges before I actually play them. Probably a good way to avoid the odd rated challenge that takes me by surprise. Alright, last night I started a little late this morning. I'm a little bit behind schedule because last night I'm taking cold medicine when I go to sleep every night, and I actually ran out of the nighttime cold medicine, so I took this daytime cold medicine, which was a big mistake. I think it had caffeine in it. You know how caffeine sometimes I guess in cough medicine and stuff like that, and I didn't think about it, and I couldn't sleep all night. It was pretty brutal. But anyway, that's my problem. Good morning, guys. We're going to get started with this chess 960 against Troll in a Roll, and I hope to make it an instructive stream today. Troll in a Roll, where are you from now? Is that Antarctica or the International Space Station? Alright, Troll, you're not a subscriber, but you were for a while, so I'll treat you like you're a subscriber and take your challenge first, and hopefully you'll be resubscribed soon. Santa Claus didn't resubscribe you. Okay, Ayeste, a Lousy Dirty Cheater, those guys. I just try to take the subscribers first, so Ayeste should be technically first. I'm just so used to playing Troll first. E4. It's chess 960. Troll plays the opening well. This is a weird setup here with the 2 bishops in the middle and the knights, and everything's in groups. That's pretty weird. I mean, chances are we're castling on the right hand side. Yeah, we're gonna call it right hand side. I've been looking for a way to express castling sides in chess 960. I guess you should just say right hand, left hand, because king side, queen side doesn't really make sense. Oh man, I don't know. I get to think forever on my first move. That's awesome. When it's not rated, the clock's not ticking, and I can just stall. I'm always reaching for the Sicilian pawn. I mean, the Sicilian move might actually be good here. It controls the center, develops a rook and a bishop. Weakens my idea of castling on the king side, though. Fisher said it's A side and H side. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe Fisher was left-handed. I don't know. Good question. So, yeah, it's just hard to say either way. Right hand side, left hand side, A side, H side. Okay. I never really knew that. E4. I wonder if anyone's, did Fisher ever write anything about the theory of chess 960? Wasn't exactly a prolific chess writer, very secretive. Probably has some hand-scribbled notes about chess 960 somewhere. Knight E3, that makes sense. Alright, control the center. Control the center. If I play Knight E6, it's also okay, but I'm going to be worried about that knight coming in. Worried about that knight coming in for sure. Let's try something neutral. No, there was another game recently where something like c3, d4 was kind of like overrunning me against Troll on a Roll in a creepy way, and there wasn't like a lot I could do about it, and it's feeling like that same kind of thing could happen here. The chess 960s tend to become, they all look like closed Sicilians or something. Anyway, good morning, guys. If you subscribed before, please resubscribe. I want to thank all of you who have. Interesting simul games last night. I played a lot of different openings, but also, it's interesting, but it's also hard that way. I mean, I could do simuls where I'm like the boring guy who plays the Slav on every board, or I play white every board and just play like d4, knight f3, bishop g5 or something. Like some title players do simuls like that, but I don't care if I lose a bunch of games. I mean, it's more interesting to play many different types of openings. And that was fun. Anyway, really hard though. So here we are in closed Sicilian land. Again, if I can put some pressure on the e-pawn, maybe it'll make it harder for him to play d4. Knight e2 is an interesting move though, staying behind the pawn structure. Kind of typical, like if he puts the knight on f3, it might block his f-pawn, block his queen. This is kind of a thoughtful move, knight e2, setting up like another form of closed Sicilian. To the untrained eye, they may be, well, why put the knight on e2? As I said, I mean, it definitely like obstructs less pieces. I think the goal would be to play something like c3 and d4, and even maybe f4 ultimately. But again, this is a relatively fast time control, so I don't know. G6. We could try G6. I think I'm obsessed with trying to make everything into a dragon structure. But there isn't really another good way to develop the queen on h8. That's a good question, though. I mean, I feel like I put a lot of priority on getting my queen in the game, but I don't know the theory of this version of chess. I mean, maybe optimal play is something like letting the queen just sit for a while out of play and then letting it get into the game later. I don't know. You really have to be careful about the queen becoming exposed. Yeah, he immediately plays for like bishop c3. Okay, I don't mind. I mean, then he's not going to have his d4 idea is shelved for a while. But I'm going to have to, worry about this concretely now. He's going to play a different type of setup. All right. Structurally, I've got a lot of weaknesses. The d5 square. But I mean, I don't know what else to do about bishop c3. Optimal play. Troll's opening is excellent in chess 960. I don't normally ever play like with black Botvinnik type of setup. Only maybe against the King's Indian attack. Chess rather Sicilian 953. I've turned it into Sicilian. I have a tendency to try to do that, and I think it's not good because I play the Sicilian so much. I'm trying to force the chess 960 to become a Sicilian, but in this version, I've ended up with a really weak d5 square, and I don't think I've played it near to optimal. I have weaknesses, and okay, I'm being kind of pessimistic, but I don't feel comfortable with this structure, to be honest. I don't like to play like the Stonewall Dutch or the Stonewall or Botvinnik type of pawn structures where I have this like massive hole in the middle of my position. I really try to avoid that for the most part. As I said, I do it against the King's Indian attack, but only when white plays like c3 and he doesn't have knights bouncing through the d5 square. So I have, I don't play the Sveshnikov. I don't play, variations where you have a big weakness in the middle of the board. Not my favorite type of style of play. Fortunately, Troll has a tendency to get into time pressure, so That's his Achilles heel. A lot of new people. Chessboy YT. I don't know. You might have been here before. Umop and Yearstim. Alright guys, I am trying to stream as much as possible, usually like 6 days a week. Bishop g5, getting my bishop outside the pawn chain looks like a reasonable move. On the other hand, this thing is a piece that looks both ways, and it is a good defender. So it would also contain a knight on d5. The temptation is to play bishop g5 here, but it really feels like a kind of one move cheap shot. He can defend easily with bishop d2. Or can he? Alright, well, we'll go with the one move cheapo. He could play queen f2 also. That actually might be his best. Queen f2, because queen f2 would actually promote the move h4, kicking me back. In truth, maybe I should play h5, expand my queen a little bit, and give my bishop a retreat back to h6 without allowing knight g4. Sounds like a plan. An alternate move is queen f6, trading queens. We're trying to trade queens. It's also probably okay. But queen f6, for example, he can start kicking me out with like h4 and follow up with g4, and I don't think I can meet it really properly. So here we are. Alright, it's impossible to castle, as you can see. If I did play rook d8, I still can't castle. I'd have to make some really weird move here, like rook c7. That's strange. I've never done anything like that in chess 960, like made a forward rook move with a nearby rook and then castled. It's funny, I could lift the rook and then castle. Maybe rook c6 is best. Rook c7 is a target. Although rook c6 walks into c3 and bishop a4 type of stuff. I've kept troll kind of at bay here, and I really would like to develop the rest of my pieces. But at the same time, my king needs to get to safety. His king is a long way from safety, too. I have knight f6, threatening knight g4. I don't know. Queen h6 just walks into h4. Castling would be nice, but as I said, c3 seems to be an issue. And I need to keep f7 protected, so I can't move my bishop on e8. I don't know what to do. And there's another move that worries me, c3, bishop b3. That's going to be a problem as well. Huh, maybe now trading queens. Then my king will be safer. I might not even have to castle if I can trade queens. Maybe I could leave my king in the center on c7 or something. But we're down to no time. It's just a 5-second increment game. Yeah, b3 is strong. Keeping him busy. Let's play the obvious moves. Double threats. Yeah, knight d5. Okay. Bishop takes c4 doesn't work. But he doesn't have knight d5. He does have rook f1. I've got tactics in the meantime. Okay. We'll keep him busy with the tactics. I don't want to see knight d5 under any circumstances. He just solved all of the tactics with that move. That's super annoying. I have no idea what to do here. No idea what to do. How do I want to take this? Just don't know. I was a little worried he was going to take on f6. This way I have a kind of plan, at least. I can try to play... Yeah, I mean, he should have taken on g5, because now I can lock a knight in on e3, or just bring it back to d6 with a good knight versus bad bishop. I guess this bishop's not that bad, though. Alright, this is going to be a bit weird. I need to find a plan quickly. Still can't castle. He can castle. Good knight versus bad bishop. I guess if rook f2 I have f5 always. Probably want to put my king on d6, blockade that way, and then we're good to go. We're actually better now, I think. The knight is a monster. It's just not what you want to have happen. And we just roll with the center. Maybe first take the open file, and then f5. He might have some kind of, you know, holdable position somehow, but it's awfully difficult to defend such a position. Black's like a pawn better, at least. But I think Troll made a bad decision, you know, not taking on, in time pressure here, mutual time pressure. He could have taken on g5, or sorry, after knight d5, bishop takes d2, he could have taken on f6. You know, he did the reflexive move to recapture on d2. This leaves me with the bishop pair, but it's probably a draw. I have to save my bishop, and then he's putting his knight on d5, and it just looks like opposite colored bishops with rooks is a much different position. I think it might be a tiny bit better for me, but probably a draw. Yeah, okay, 20 moves, not bad. Where is everybody? Yeah, the Monday morning streams don't always kick ass, unfortunately. But there'll be some more players on the way. I did a simul last night. There was a really good turnout. I played 25 boards. A lot of the subscribers were here. But it's 10 o'clock in the morning in Europe. I mean, a lot of Europeans aren't really down with it. The Americans, it's very early. I think this time is best for like the Asian players. Anyone in Australia. Probably. Actually, Troll is like in Russia, I think. He's also in a good time zone for this stream. Ayesta, we're going to play next. He's a subscriber. I really, you know, thank you guys for subscribing. I'd like to, you know, hope that everybody does, but we can't expect that, of course. Ayesta had a tough break yesterday. A lot of the games in the simul were decided by time pressure. I felt a lot of the results in my simul last night. It's like a 3-hour simul, 40-40. I felt a lot of the results were like reversed. You know, a lot of people had good positions and lost, and some players had like bad positions that won on time and stuff. I think Ayesta had a good position. He was clearly better at one point, and then went wrong in the end. But it was a good game. GRSA, man, yeah. Well, Bosnia, you know, here in Eastern Europe, if you're a morning person, the stream is good for you. You know, if you don't like, you know, don't like doing stuff in the morning, it's obviously not the best. Okay, let's try something different. I was thinking about two things. Yesterday, one was I had G6 like, I had a G6 like type of Rossalimo, which I was happy about. And that's a line that I don't normally play. And the second thing is this move, Queen C7, is another move I'd like to look at more, because I think it might be a little bit underrated. But black has to play very, very precisely. Now, Ayesta, did we have a game like this, or was it with someone else recently? I've got some serious memory problems. If I play knight f6 and you play knight c3, that probably transposes to a pretty well-known line. I know that I can also play e6, and I don't know which is better. So I'm thinking that it might have been Ayesta who I had the game with in this line before. Rook e1 though, he doesn't do knight c3. And black has to be fairly quick about this. I guess I go the e6 and if e5 I just play knight to d5. Huh. Interesting. If I play d5 here, you're going to take, and I play with knight takes, then you play d4? That's kind of decent for white, I guess, huh? Why don't I wait then and play bishop e7, and then when you play d4 I play c takes d, c takes d, d5. I guess. He's playing instant moves. It's noon already for Gladys Troll. Yeah, I mean, I think yours is probably like the best time control. This, I guess, is playing super fast. It reminds me a little bit of when I'm playing white in like the anti-Slav or something. I'm just kind of bored with the lines that I do play against the bishop b5 Rossalimo Sicilian. I've been playing the same line with d6 over and over and over and over again. We have like 20 games with Ayesta in that line. So I really ought to be like, and I've thought about this for a while, I need to be less predictable against the Rossalimo in particular. Just having one variation is, at my level, dangerous, because a strong player who prepares for me, you know, can narrow it down so easily, you know, and just prepare something special. I need to have at least a secondary line. I mean, bishop b5 is like one of the most popular sidelines and probably the best in the Sicilian. So for those of you that are new to my stream, we try to be pretty serious here. I don't really mess around too much, and the focus is really on just learning and helping everyone understand the game better. It's not a light stream, you know. I'm not just kicking back, drinking beers, and making sexist jokes. I basically, you know, try to be really serious, keep it pretty straightforward. E takes d5, knight takes d5, and this is a different approach. You know, I think a lot of people would go with the e5 type of thing, but now that I think about it, it's a matter of style, really. I mean, e5, you get a lasting space advantage with that, but this leads to like a more open position. Now I have to decide, you know, if I want to let that knight stay on d5 or trade it off on c3. Probably both are possible, taking or not taking. I don't really want to waste too much time. castling should be okay. But structurally, this isn't necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if it's good for me to exchange there or not. I fixed his pawns into hanging pawns. I recently did a series for the site called The Chess World, a middle game masterclass, and I go into some discussion about hanging pawns against, versus like isolated pawns. These are actually interrelated. We have an isolated queen pawn position here. If I take on c3, it becomes a hanging pawns position. But I think the hanging pawns are like an improved brother of the isolated pawn. Yeah, I'm gonna go with castles. You can isolate my pawn on I guess this might be a blunder. No, it's okay. There's a weird line I was looking at. Knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, bishop f4. Queen takes f4, rook takes e7, where like all the pieces come off the board and he's got a rook on the 7th. But there I think his structure is kind of bad. So I should be okay. Actually, I'm probably quite good there. But I was just looking at that. Winning this type of position looks really tough for black. I mean, I don't have any kind of counterplay. I'm just kind of playing solid. Trying to be serious on Twitch is insane. That's close. It's also 10:23 in Paris. It's a pretty big time zone we're in there, GRSA, man. No, I don't mean to be too serious. We can have fun here too, but I'm not a clown. I have to fill out my streamer profile for lichess. Don't let me forget, guys. Ornikar was getting on me about it yesterday. Hey, Camel Culture, what's up, man? Your top cheer is still the record. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, and the structure of excitement. I said this before and I'll say it again. I don't really like symmetrical pawn structures. They're, oftentimes like tedious and boring. You're usually either slightly worse or slightly better. In this case, I'm slightly worse, probably. The only thing I have going for me is that the bishop on b5, is he going to trade it off? And if not, what is it doing there? So that move might, be enough for me to kind of equalize. Like either he gives away his bishop pair or he has to waste the tempo moving that piece again. It's like the missing link, like what does that bishop have to do with this position, more or less? You might make the same argument for my queen on c7. Now, really logical positional move, h3, stopping bishop g4. As I said, you might make the argument for my queen on c7, but queen on c7 protects c6, it protects my bishop on e7. I guess it has some functionality. All right. Yeah, we're going to have some problems with my bishop not knowing where to go. Bishop f5 definitely looks playable. Where is he going? Well, I mean, it's basically just degenerated into a blitz game, I guess. And bishop d6 may not be stupid, although bishop f6 is kind of an obvious idea. It has some disadvantages. The thing about bishop f6 that bothers me is that he could take on c6 and play like knight e5. And that is going to be like, how am I going to get rid of the knight on e5? If I play bishop d6, I can play f6 later on. That's why I decided to do it this way. It looks, this position looks like something also that can crop up in the Nimzo Indian. It's basically equal. I think white has a tiny pull with the active rook maybe on e1. It gives him a kind of microscopic advantage. Both have bad bishops and good bishops. We have the symmetrical pawn structure. Damn, that's a strong move. Robbed me of my opportunity to play bishop f5. It's an excellent, excellent decision by white. Very logical. First h3 and then bishop d3, taking that away from me. Darn it. I'm trying to decide if knight g5 is a threat or not. There's also bishop takes h7 check, but that usually doesn't work in this type of position. We're going to hope that knight g5 is not a threat. But I mean, my setup with bishop d7 is inherently passive. Bishop takes h7 doesn't work here. If I were to play rook e8, it still wouldn't work, right? I've got my queen defending laterally. That's the key element, because bishop takes, king takes, knight g5 check. King g6 is possible. Maybe that's actually winning. Yeah, I guess that would probably win anyway. Alright, b3 now on the queen side. Not a lot of excitement happening here. I was just talking about defending myself there. Well, I'm down to 13 seconds. Damn, dude. Bad move by me. Is it a bad move or not? If knight e5, I'm going to have to take it with the bishop and play like bishop takes e5, d takes e5, d4, and try to set up some kind of blockade. But it looks a little sketchy for black. I probably shouldn't have allowed that. Out of here. I take it back. I don't want my queen on b6. Maybe I should have put it on f6, actually. Sacked in exchange. He just lost on time. It was all bullshit basically for me. Pardon my French, but you know, I'm like losing here. But I had to just adapt to the time situation. He had some very, very serious threats, so I just like played the most promising practical try. It was a nice play there. I thought I'm just dead here if I play king f8. I mean, king f8, queen h7. Apparently I can defend with g5, but it looks precarious. So I decided to just sack in exchange. It looks like queen f6 was a bad move. This was an amazing game by Ayeste, by the way, if you check out his center pawn loss. Okay, it's a symmetrical position. It's not like he's a computer, but it's pretty easy to play, but it's pretty impressive. 1 inaccuracy, 12 center pawn loss. I mean, you know, I may be an international master, but I can't change the fact if my opponent plays like perfectly, you know, there's nothing I can do. That's like perfect play by white, except for a3 apparently, which is one of those like, you know, one of those moves that Stockfish criticizes. I don't really think it's dubious. Inaccuracy, he didn't play the best move. You know, he could have played knight g5. So apparently he has a tactic here which neither of us saw. Knight takes f7, king takes f7, queen h5 check. That's a little surprising. I mean, he's down a piece in this position. King f8, and you know, nobody's going to play this unless they're crazy. Doesn't even clearly work. So anyway, good game. You're winning at the end. I didn't see this in time pressure, but I can choose to just lose a pawn. Oh, I don't know. Oh no, wait, I have another defense? I have knight e7. This also looks awful. No. Oh, the previous move, knight e7. Okay, yeah, so here I should just lose a pawn with queen g6. Yeah, well, that's great. I'm just down a clear pawn. Maybe some drawing chances because white's queen side is kind of weakened, you know. I might be able to break up the queen side, but really nice game by white. All right, I don't think we have any other challengers who are actually subscribers. Sauce Chess Coach provisionally rated. I'm not going to play that rated, and I'm not going to play anyone with less than 50 games here on lichess. I really don't play rated during my streams, and I definitely I'm only going to play people who have like established ratings. Max Blunder is challenging me to a weird time control, 5 plus 10. I only do between 5 plus 3 and 7 plus 3. So we've got Chess Guy 256, who's a totally new account. That also I will not play totally unestablished accounts. So a Lousy Dirty Cheater and Camel Culture, we've narrowed it down to those two. Yes, to thank you for subscribing, and it's my pleasure. So Lousy Dirty Cheater is not a subscriber, but he's a regular here off and on. And now I get to play white. So what are we going to do today? I've been playing a lot of English opening, knight f3, and sometimes e4 and d4. I'd like to play more e4, but my theoretical knowledge of e4 is not at the same level as knight f3, c4, and d4. There are certain openings within the e4 realm, the Winnoware French being probably my biggest fear. There are certain lines that I don't know quite as deeply as the queen pawn and flank openings, and I think I play it less in tournaments. The Alekhine's defense were Alyokhin, if you want to say it, and try to pronounce it close to a traditional Russian way. Alyokhin. It's an opening. Why am I playing knight f3? It's an opening that I tried playing myself with black on a non-professional level. But I've never really had a problem with playing white against this opening. I mean, it seems like black is giving white a lot. I think that hyper modern chess openings are good, you know, for beating weaker players. But Lousy Dirty Cheater is playing a stronger player, and I think that actually may make your life more difficult, you know. But you still got to just play what you play. I mean, if your main opening is the Alekhine's defense, you're going to play that against everybody. But for me, I'm playing like extremely hyper modern openings, usually specifically against weaker players, because they tend to not understand hyper modern chess as well. Okay, well, the main line is knight f3 by old standards, classical standards, but there are a lot of different ways that we could play here against Alyokhin's defense. Yeah, I do play the exchange variation a lot. GRS May, oh, you're Chess Guy. Okay, sorry, totally didn't remember. Don't tell anyone. Send me a private whisper. Knight b6, and now you can play either the 4 pawns attack. A lot of amateurs play like knight f3, but it's not really a variation, or the exchange variation, which is what I usually do. Yeah, unfortunately, Lousy Dirty Cheater took back with the e-pawn, and then here we are again with our favorite symmetrical pawn structure. 2 games in a row with symmetrical pawn structures. What am I going to do with you guys? But Lousy Dirty Cheater played g6. Okay, now that's interesting. That's more combative than the usual bishop e7 castles. More aggressive in a sense, but also more risky because he weakens his king side. if this were not such an open position, you could consider something like h4, h5. Here it's more still a possibility for sure. But you know, it's just that in open games, normally there's no time for these like violent flank attacks. This is definitely excuse me. This is definitely I'm still just getting over my cold. An open position is what I'm trying to say. All right. Well, I decided to develop, instead of playing a wild flank attack directly, but I'm going to play aggressively here. We may yet launch the h-pawn. The thing is, there is an open file on the board, which makes the all-out flank attack, you know, kind of harder to achieve usually than in a more semi-closed or whatever position. I don't know. I mean, I remember like thinking about g6 before, maybe with black, you know, and just feeling like, well, I've got no pieces around the king side, and I'm weakening my dark squares, and it's not commonly played. I think I looked at it, and the statistics weren't really good for black. Now here's a move. That bishop is always a problem. It's not really related to much of anything. He could play knight b4, knight c6 and knight b4, and try to come in on c2, but not really a problem. I can always play rook c1. So anyway, well, first of all, we're thinking of this caveman style stuff with h4, h5, which I think, you know, has to be considered. Just because I haven't castled doesn't mean I have to castle queenside. You know, that's another thing. And we can just delay castling. You know, that's an effective style of play. So I like h4. Castling queenside is pretty double-edged, but definitely an option. The other thing, though, his bishop on f5. I mean, I could opt for a different setup with like f3 and g4. That's certainly conceivable. There's also, no, there isn't knight e2 because of my c4 pawn. Okay, I know I've used a lot of time here, but I'm gonna go with a decision just to not castle. So World Loser says that g6 is a good move. Well, we'll check after the game. I mean, I'm kind of the opinion that, you know, if it were such a good move, bishop e7 wouldn't be the main line. But, you know, we'll take a look. I have an open mind about it, but, you know, usually moves like that, you know, would be well established main lines. If g6 was better than bishop e7, there's no question everyone would always play g6. This is not a new position, not a secret position. There must be something wrong with g6. Maybe it's not like terrible for black, but it has to be inferior to bishop e7. Just logic would dictate. He's going with this very obvious plan, but I think that he's kind of hanging himself out to dry over there because he's got no follow-up after knight b4. His knight is going to get kicked back. Now there's no way to increase the pressure. I mean, what's he going to do? Does he have d5 here? d5. Well, it's complicated. I guess if d5, I could always play b3, believe it or not. If worse comes to worse, I can do that. You know, reinforce my c4 pawn with a pawn. That would be crazy, though. d5, b3, He might even have some c5 type of stuff. Now queen e7, and he's trying to... Looks like he's trying to castle queenside. Wow. Okay. I can kick him out. My only problem here is really on the clock. This feels good, but I still don't know what I'm doing, you know, convincingly here. If I play a3, I just drive him back to where he came from. There's no knight e2, queen e7. I wonder if I could consider f3 and king f2. Kind of artificial plan. This is crazy. c5 is dangerous. Queen e7 actually looks like a really good move. He's moving super fast, like trying to flag me. Sorry, guys. I'm almost getting through this cold. What was I gonna do now? Just lose on time, it looks like. Oh. Alright, I was thinking about something here. I had some plan. Now I remember. I remember the plan now. To play knight to d5. For better or for worse, I'm going to go for this. We're down to 30 seconds. World Loser, it's about specific positions, not anything wrong with the idea of g6, you know. You're thinking too, like, you know, categorically. I just think in this specific position with the open e-file, it may be not appropriate. I think that it's a totally great square in general. I would love it to be good, but I doubt that it is good because everyone would play it. It's like one of the most popular variations of the Alekhine's defense. If g6 was the best move, then it would be the main line. I think I just blundered. I thought that I was good here, but I forgot about something. I'm just devastated now. I didn't see knight takes d4. That was good. Alright, we've got to fight on. Maybe we tricked him. I have bishop e5 check. Is it strong? Probably not a big deal, but it might not hurt. Well, he's got me in the classic. The classic. He's got no. What am I trying to say? I don't know. I got distracted. We just need to focus on the game here. All right. Distracting myself too much. This develops a piece, which is handy, and prevents him from castling, you know, which is kind of useful. Because if I don't throw that in, he'll be able to castle kingside really comfy now. No, this move is probably essential for me. Now I'm actually better. I think I'm better, though I don't have a lot of time to think it. But not like winning, just like a slight advantage. I think the two pieces should be better than... I thought the two pieces should be better than the rook and pawn. Now, I could be wrong. Yeah, that was a good move. I don't know. That's not normal. I have the tendency, though, to believe people when I'm in time pressure. If I see a move, then it must be, it must be a good move. I could have taken that last move. Yes, yes, that is true. Queen takes e3, rook takes h4, and I'm up a piece. Lousy Dirty Cheater had a very interesting position, but he commits the error of rushing the opponent in their time pressure a little bit too much. I mean, it's good, and I've lost a lot of games on time, and in tournaments too. I've lost a lot of games because of time pressure. But you need to pressure the opponent, but not play much too fast. I think that's the secret. So I don't know. I totally overlooked knight takes d4. If I'm lost here, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So on rook c4, he has only moved c5. It looks like this was all critical. I don't know what I could have done. I missed something, huh? a3 was bad. I should have just developed the piece. Okay, a3 felt bad, but I miscalculated this part. I just overlooked d4 was hanging. It's pretty bad. It's still morning. Fortunately, I had rook c4, which is almost okay for me, but he has c5. After c5, d takes c5, knight takes c6. He's just basically a pawn up, I guess. So it's not really gonna work for me. He's just a pawn up. Yeah, I messed up. But to answer, the question and World Losers question, so g6 is pretty rare. It's only played in 42 games. It has a good statistic, it looks like, relative to the other lines. Bishop e7 is played in 980 games, knight c6 is played in 203 games, and g6 is played in 42 games. Okay, having said that, and having been a full-time poker player for a long time, which revolves around a lot of statistics, I can tell you guys that 42 games doesn't mean a whole lot. When you see a game and a move in the opening encyclopedia or opening explorer with like 40 games, I mean, take it with a very strong grain of salt if one side has like a winning score. Okay, there's a lot going on there. Probably it matters like how strong the players are and stuff like that. It looks like g6 is kind of an experimental move, and the chances are that a lot of people either underestimated it or didn't know what they were doing. Here, for example, like the move bishop e3 that I played has a terrible score. Notice that's insane. Like 8 games, it can't be that bad, by the way. Bishop e3. It looks like bishop e3 actually only won like 1 game out of 8 or something like that. Yan Demirov, nobody great. So the first thing is, when you look at these 42 games, I mean, probably not a lot of high-level players. There's a few. Looks like Knightich was involved in a game with white. But who played this with black? Only the Sergeyev guy. Bishop e3, bishop g7, and no name players at all. Pigzilla. This Paglila guy, it's funny. My friend, Brazilian Grandmaster, who I won't name, he made his account on ICC Pigzilla. I think he was kind of making fun of this guy's name. It looks like this is playable, but okay, maybe it turns out that this isn't the best. Dorota Sarnota, sister of Sarnota. It looks like I'm following. Is that the sister of Sarnota? World Loser. h4. Yeah, h4, we're into new territory. Bishop f5, we're actually in new territory. He should castle according to the engine. So, but it's interesting, why is it bad to play bishop e3. So everyone scored well with knight f3. Knight f3. And if bishop g4, you just go h3 here according to the statistics. But, I mean, I don't know. Karsten, Volka, and Sergeyev are the only decent players who've played this for black. It's weird, you know? I don't know. I don't think the statistics are really fair. I mean, it's white's score is like overwhelming after h3, but it shouldn't be that bad for black. It's just like slight advantage for white. Strange. No, I agree that g6 is playable, but it's probably riskier than playing bishop e7. That's about all that we can really say about it. All right, Camel Culture World Loser. And we've got no subscriber challenges, I guess. Alright. Guys, forgive me for my coughing and sneezing and whatever. I'm almost past the cold now. I think we're getting better. Alright, Camel Culture is tough. I played e4. Let's play d4. Yeah, black just simply blundered. When I played rook c4, he didn't see c5 and decided to sacrifice 2 pieces for the rook, but you know, that wasn't the best way to go in that position. You know, c5 just leaves him a pawn up with no compensation, really. All right, I don't know. I haven't been playing too much d4. The Bogo Indian is pretty annoying. I usually play bishop d2, but let's try this for something different. I've only played knight bd2 like in a couple of games in my career without good results, but against it I have problems. So Camel Culture is actually playing the line that I played against Victor Erdos last year and lost a passive game. It's very risky to play this, and Camel Culture played d5. Now, oddly enough, Camel Culture, I was just studying this variation with one of my students. Isn't life strange? This exact variation. But knight e4 is not the main move there. You're supposed to play knight d7. He's like instantaneously playing knight e4. That's weird. Like he's so sure, but knight d7 is supposed to be the standard. Maybe he's just making it up. So what's wrong with knight e4? That everybody's supposed to play knight d7. The theory is very deep there. There must be something wrong with this move. I guess my assumption is bishop d3. We could also play queen c2. I guess it might be a line, but again, like the g6 mystery last game, there's a reason why knight e4 isn't as good as knight d7. There has to be. This, unlike the other position, is actually played in hundreds of games. This variation with knight d7, well, actually the other position are hundreds of games too. I mean, knight e4 is actually very similar to g6 last game, and it's not being really the established move. All right, so bishop d3 or queen c2. You could also exchange on d5, but I don't see what benefit that really, gives us. I think queen c2 makes more sense because then we can capture on c4 in one move. All right, we're going with queen c2. I'm going to mute the No, so yeah, it's just a funny coincidence that of all the 12 possible variations Camel Culture could play, he played the exact one that I analyzed this past week. To some degree, though, not like I know a lot, but at least like my mind is in the right place for this. because I usually don't play knight on bd2. It's just that, okay, d6 I've played myself, and d5 was what one of my students wants to play. We were looking at it, and we weren't really too impressed with black's position. In the d5, e5, knight d7 lines, black has some problems. I think I saw a Brian Smith, Lupulescu versus Brian Smith. There was one game. Brian Smith also works for chesslecture.com, video website, site that I work for. And Brian's very well prepared theoretically. He's excellent in the opening. He's excellent tactically. He's a good all-around player. But it was interesting. Lupulescu knew all the theory, and they went like 17 moves deep in this line with knight d7. Yeah, so it looks like knight e4 is a move, but knight d7 is not running into the same problems. I personally don't really like it, but I'm not going to tell people what to play. If my student prefers, to play this line with d5, that's his decision. I played d6 against Erdos. Antipov and some others have been playing this, and it's actually not a new idea, just they have some new ideas later on. Basically, Camel Culture, I wouldn't recommend you play this line against stronger players like I did. I think it was a mistake to play it against Erdos. I only played it because I didn't have anything else to play, because I was fearing his preparation. In a vacuum, the d6 line anyway. The d5 line, if you play knight d7, it's okay. But when you're playing stronger players, you probably don't want to give them a big space advantage in general. I would think like bishop e7 and d6 is a good line for black to play for a win, like against weaker players where you're keeping the pieces on the board. Now he's playing f5. Okay. Yeah, black's position looks pretty suspicious here. You could probably take on f6, or you can ignore it. It's up to you. All the options are available. There are basically two ways to play here. I'm feeling very frisky today. Queen takes probably, yeah, no good. This is our second h4 in as many games. I hope the stream's not still muted. That's a really big delay there, GRSA man. I guess we have to consider castling queenside. This is not that different from the Lupulescu-Smith game that I was talking about. Brian had an unpleasant position along these lines. Now, b6 though might be a good move. Trying to play for c5. I've played b4 leaves me wide open. This is tough. What would Ruslan Ponomaryov do? Definitely not resign, right? Who was saying that? He never resigns. I feel I'm better, but I might have, I might be in danger of overreaching myself here if I'm playing on the queen side and the king side. It's kind of like maybe I should just decide on one or the other. All right, screw it. I almost was tempted to play b4, but I'm gonna like just tone it down a little bit. Let's try to keep ourselves restricted to one flank or the other. I don't know. White should be better, but not that easy. Yeah, c5. Okay. Possible to take on c5, actually. Take. I'm not committing myself to castling queenside. I don't know. But I think that I've played this very indecisively. My original plan was not to take on c5. My original plan was to just play like bishop e2 or bishop d3. And then think about like just putting my king on g1 or something like that. And then I just changed my mind midstream on the fly here. And Camel Culture is playing logically now. I'm a little concerned about this. Bishop c4. Is that crazy to do that? Yeah, he's got to check. That's not everything. All right. It seems crazy. This is really crazy, but all right, I don't know. I can put the bishop on a2 or something. Try to hide my king on f1. I got to get my king over here to g1. You know, that's where it's meant to be. I'm actually threatening, I just realized bishop takes e7, so maybe this isn't bad. A little more tactical than I'd like to have the position be with like 2 minutes left, but Milan Kirai has a new account. Milan Kiraina. Kraina. Fun game anyway. Sack your queen. Rook in peace for the queen. No, it's not good. Queen a5 check, I have bishop d2. But actually, that might not be bad for him. Okay, that's a lot of hanging pawns, you know, on d5, and a lot of them. It's in an irrational position. Slightly irrational position, but all my pieces are active. Camel Culture thingy forever. It sounds like Serbian. William. That reminds me of my friend George Alexopoulos. William. Okay. Well, that's that. Or is it? I think I just have to bail out. I mean, castling might not be that bad. Whatever. It's hard to know if my rook belongs on h1 or not. Good game, though. A lot going on in this game. Yeah, h6 is logical. But now I can finally do something. I don't know if it's a big deal, but b3. Probably want to get this in if you can get it. Smoke them if you got them. You better play b3 when you got the chance to play it, because there may not be another chance. Oh, he just didn't even take. That's weird. I thought you had to take. Don't have to take. Okay, now we've got all kinds of options. Knight d4. Is that even a good move? Who knows? would be simpler just to take and go into the ending a pawn up. Wait a minute. I mean, we're extremely active here, but I don't know if I'm really glad that I did what I did there. Okay. Whatever. Alright, it's a pawn. Either way. We've got a strong passer on the e file. And playing knight d4 might not have been a bad move. My knight is in the center of the board, so we have good winning chances. I guess that pass pawn is the key. What else can we do? Just want all the pieces to play. I'm looking at knight f4. It's not a problem, I guess. Okay, I don't think that I'm too worried here. Pass pawns must be pushed is what they say. Is there any other way I can improve my position first? He's going to blockade with rook e7, knight e7. I don't know. Alright. This knight can come back here and just secure my pawns. I was really hoping to get my rook on the 7th though. And then knight g6, knight f3. And then we're gonna just push this baby. Pretty strong, apparently, for white. Grab another one. This I didn't really expect. Well, it's basically a blitz game. Free range pawn. Shit. Oh, he's going into this king and pawn ending. This almost has to be winning, no? I mean, just up a clear pawn. Yeah, this has got to be winning. Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual. Who was talking about that? I actually found my copy of that. I'm close to messing this up, probably. He's so fast. Okay, credible and bullet. Yeah, now we could lose with, like, we could draw with king f5, g6 check. Is this some theoretical draw now? No stalemate. I guess we managed to win it without messing it up. It was like, damn, that was a long game. 7+3. Who asked me about GM aspirations? Did you see my last tournament result? Hey, Sean. Not after my last tournament. I finished -4 in a GM tournament. Maybe talk to me in 6 months. Right now, we're having some self-doubt issues. There was a draw. Oh my god, what? I actually messed it up. This is a draw. King H7. I've never seen that one before. That's cool. I knew that I was on the verge of messing this up. So I actually managed to do it. You have to play King G6 here, or yeah, King F8 is much more what I would do. The Dvoretsky's Endgame manual is sitting next to me. Oh god. I know, okay, the book looks okay. I mean, I haven't actually read it, but yeah, hopefully I can make GM before I'm 60. 2020. That's yeah, if I hit the lottery or something, I think there's a good chance. But other than that, if I can be financially independent without having to teach chess, I think there's a chance I could just totally play like nonstop and get back to maximum strength. But right now, it's very slow going. I took 5 years off of playing, playing poker full time, and I've been back for like 2 years, but I just cannot get back to my full strength. World Loser, Chess Guy, you'll be up next. All right. This player's games aren't smooth enough. I love that. I haven't seen that. I hadn't seen that, World Loser. What did I do? I didn't click your challenge. I just clicked on your name. All right. They're not smooth enough. Yeah, I managed to mess up that king and pawn ending. But that particular stalemate theme, I don't think I've ever seen that one before. King H7. We both missed it. That's sick. Alright. But I knew that it was getting a little bit too close for comfort. Alright, World Loser. Well, he always complains that I never play E4 against him. What are we going to do against the Najdorf today? Or anything against the Sicilian? Alright, let's see what he does here. I don't normally play the... okay, typical Najdorf player. He can do this move order with D6. Screw it. We'll transpose, if you want to transpose the Najdorf. I was just hoping he would play Knight C6. But it's a stupid hope, because Najdorf players, they really need to play, this move order. My friend Emil Solansi, actually Dragon players too, often employ 2D6 move order. So I don't know what I was really hoping for. I was hoping for Knight C3, Knight C6, Bishop B5. But anyway, we'll play a Najdorf. And I don't have any new ideas. Okay, let's just try to play the Sozin. This is what I know the best. I haven't played a game in this line against World Loser for a while. We had some games last, fall probably. Not in the last couple of months here on the stream. But I can't remember offhand, and I think that World Loser might have played different variations in this line. I'm not really sure. I can recall. So Knight BD7 is, Bishop E7 is kind of like a traditional line, but Knight on BD7 is Not bishop e7, but I guess b5. b5. Knight bd7 is more modern, like a modern treatment. Danish style feta. Good day, mate. So I was saying earlier that we get, you know, our stream time is best for Australian players. Europeans, it's too, you know, it's morning. And what was I looking at here? Okay, so queen f3. I guess you can do e5. I don't know what the deal is with that. My analysis here is basically 15 years old. I had a game in the U.S. Championship against John Fedorovich once. That was a draw. But we're like friends, and okay, it wasn't a prearranged draw, but I think neither of us wanted really to beat the other very much, so we agreed to a draw in like 20 moves. But I took the opening seriously, and so did John. I guess it was this line. Queen c7, f5 maybe I played right away. I don't remember now. I think World Loser likes to play e5 pretty quickly in these type of positions. It's also possible for me to play bishop e3 or castle. I don't know. They're all kind of similar but different. Bishop e3, f5, castles. And he just plays fast. I mean, he doesn't try to play the best move. He just tries to be practical. A totally different philosophy from me. And it results in me like sometimes winning by World Loser blundering, or him winning because of my time pressure. But we are at the opposite philosophical, you know, sort of ends of the whatever it is, the continuum on philosophy about time use in games. I try to use all my time, and he just like moves as quickly as physically possible. But I think the Egyptian approach to time, keeping your possessions when you go to the grave. World Loser, you always play fast, man. You always play fast. But of course you know the position. I know the position too, but I mean, that doesn't mean you don't think about it, dude. Walter Brown was 7-time U.S. champion. He would be in a position he's played 100 times, and he would still think for 5 minutes trying to find a new idea, you know? I mean, that's the thing, dude. You can always find new ideas. You can know the theory, but you might want to look for something new sometimes. You've got 7 minutes, so my argument is like, you know, whether to use it. I think I go too far to the other extreme. I'm getting in too much time pressure, and that's a problem too. But I think we're both like too exaggerated in our own direction. I think that Brown was like me, you know, in that he would use too much time. But I still think you can find new ideas in positions where you quote-unquote know the theory. New ideas can be discovered even over the board. But it's more practical to do your research at home. As Walter Brown was playing in an era where the time control was like 40 moves in 2 hours, and sometimes like 20 in 1, sudden death 1, maybe 8-hour games. One of them played against me. Nowadays the time controls are getting faster and faster, so I guess that's a pretty important part of the equation. Yeah, he was born in Australia, never graduated from high school as far as I know, yet he was a fantastic expert in many games: poker, chess, Scrabble. Yeah, little known fact that Brown was actually Australian born. Fortunately, he died. We had some good games, like three games. All right, here, I don't know. I don't remember my game with Fetty, because there's so many different move orders in this line that are so similar, and that's the thing that bugs me about it. I think position was like this, but slightly different. It looked like this. I'm not sure this is right for me. It makes sense. I guess I never had white against brown. He was always white against me, which made life a little difficult. A couple times that I played him, it was like a King's Indian every time. But I just mention it because of not only his time pressure, but ironically, Brown was a huge Najdorf player. I don't remember how my game with Fed went. I mean, it was something like this, something similar. But we agreed to a draw after a couple more moves. But it couldn't have been the exact same position, could it? Like e5, knight f5. It's almost like he has to play e5 here, but that doesn't make sense, does it? I have knight e6. e5, knight e6. Wow. I don't understand. It's a tactic. Yeah, that's really nice. Knight e6, queen b6 check. Alright, so that's fine. I guess I probably have to like take on d5 now. I hope it's okay. I don't know what else to do. I think I have to take. Well, maybe I could play something like King h1. King h1. I feel like I've already had this game with World Loser 20 years ago. Can I take this? He just insta-took back. I'm thinking for like 5 minutes on bishop c5. And he just instantly took back. Alright. Now knight f5 is possible. But I don't know if it's a good move. It's also bishop f4. That doesn't seem right. For all the talent that World Loser has, he just can't slow down. You had a lot of interesting moves there. I don't know, now it looks like I might be okay. I was afraid I was in serious trouble. I mean, even so, Black's probably okay here. But I thought you had many dangerous continuations. That's why I have no time. I mean, I'm all this stuff that didn't happen that I'm afraid might happen. Not because of this position. Did you watch the what? No, I didn't watch. Oh man, I've been sick as a dog like the last week. I'm lucky I can do my like streams and barely doing my streams and stuff. I'm assuming Carlsen won, right? should we just even question the result? I mean, I would have probably heard about it if Hikaru won. How is Carlsen so good? It's just like ridiculous, you know? What is he, like an alien or something? I mean, should I even ask? Chess Fun 27? Because I don't know the result, but I can guess the result, you know? Alright, we need to be careful. He's trying to run me over on time. I've got to be very careful here. I just said that, right? Can't be too careful. 4 minutes against 22 seconds. You're gonna leave me in suspense, or is somebody gonna tell me that Carlsen did beat Hikaru in Saudi Arabia? Knight to g4. Okay, that's definitely a weird move. I will take the time to develop and then get you out of my face. Queen and knight combination. I'm just trying not to lose on time. I'm just going to get flagged. Actually, I don't understand why World Loser is challenging me to 8+3. I've actually stopped playing 8+3. So 7+3 is the maximum. He just forgot. But I should have mentioned it. No more 8+3. It's just too long. We should do 7+3 maximum. Okay, you're crazy not to trade your bad bishop for a knight there, World Loser. I mean, I don't know if you're just intentionally trying to keep the position more complicated, but that's just no-brainer in that position. You definitely need to trade that guy off. You may still draw, you know, or even beat me on time, but if you're given the opportunity to trade the bad bishop for the knight there, I think you should take it 100%. Maybe it's still okay for black. He's so fast, I don't understand how his blitz rating isn't like 2300. All right. Now I might be worse if I'm not careful. I can't understand how he can move that fast. Not ever thinking on a single move. I guess his king is too strong for me to have realistic winning chances here. I'm not really winning, it's a draw, probably. Oh, have to actually be careful. I might even lose now. probably losing now. Maybe not losing, but I'm worse. Now he can trade his white square bishop at the very least, but I let his king in the e5. It was a big mistake. Big blunder. Maybe I have knight d4, huh? Check. Why didn't I play knight d4? Wow, okay. I just can't imagine how he can be so fast. God. Just barely staying alive here. Wow. That's weird. Now I'm lost. I just couldn't handle the time pressure anymore. I guess I'm lost. Perfect technique. Yeah. Just too strong for me, man. You're just too strong. Unbelievable strong, you know, how he plays. He's just like a machine. I don't mean a computer. He's just playing great, you know, like unbelievable fast and strong. This ending is slightly better for me, and he actually outplayed me without using any time. I mean, this is crazy. I played h4. It turns out it was a mistake. And probably I'm not really even better here. I thought I was better, but I guess it's just a draw. Yeah, that's impressive endgame by World Loser. Just like a serious master, dude. All right, so let's see. 1886. You got 69 games. Please let this be casual. I have to check before we start. All right, chess guys also challenged me to casual. Okay. Nice game, World Loser. That was amazing, dude. You're just so fast. It's unbelievable how you can play so strong and fast and just be 2100. Jesus Christ. It's just... Man, what a tough game. That's the first game we played in a while, I think. This is a really weird opening setup by white. G3, bishop G2, and the E3. Like, what is that? And now D4. I probably have to play D5. Dude, I just take the challenges in the order I've got them, chess guy. I'm sorry, man. Dude, I don't play bullet chess, kiddo. It's not good for your game, probably. It's not chess, it's just garbage. I think there's no reason anybody should be encouraging people to play like 10-second chess. Chess is already deteriorating the way it is. We don't need that. You know, it's funny and entertaining for, you know, getting more viewers on your Twitch stream probably, but I think that it's just absolutely not chess. It's a waste of time. A lot of grandmasters I see here, one Hungarian grandmaster in particular, sits there every day on lichess. All he does is play bullet chess all day. This guy's earned the grandmaster title, and he's wasting his time playing 1 minute chess all day long on lichess. I think it's a really sad waste of time. The guy could probably take his time and study and become like a 2700 or something, instead of basically, you know, spending your time playing 1 second chess or whatever. It's stupid. But people just can't stop. It's like an addiction. And ironically, World Losers Blitz rating isn't even very high, which I always find ironic. You know, I don't understand how that's possible. He should be like 2300 in Blitz at least, based on some of the games he's beaten me. But if you don't watch my stream, you don't know my philosophy about playing bullet chess. I think it's just absolutely destroying a lot of players, and people don't understand that's happening. You know, if you're a tournament player, you can control yourself, and know the difference between playing like 1 minute chess and regular chess. You know, I guess it's okay. But a lot of people don't know the difference, and then they never ever can stop themselves from playing this garbage style of bullet chess, basically. Yeah, I don't really agree with you. And being a GM, you know, isn't a big deal anymore, dude. FIDE has basically kind of thrown away the requirements for the title to a great degree. I mean, Eric Hansen is a good player, but there's a lot of other players who are getting the GM title who aren't even very strong. It's not a big deal to be a GM anymore. Rating and titles don't mean a whole lot. I think winning tournaments and you know, making money, winning big prizes is probably the goal of top players. Trying to make a living as a professional, trying to win tournaments and make a good, you know, living. That's what all you can do. But I think that bullet chess is destroying chess. It's just absolutely disgusting to watch, like, grandmasters losing and dropping pieces and playing games where the game is just absolute trash. You know, you can disagree with me if you want to, I don't care, but I wouldn't even play chess, dude, if that's what chess is about, like just throwing your pieces around and making blunders and like flagging the other guy with 10 seconds. If that's what chess is about, I would be playing a different game altogether, you know. I'd go back to playing poker or something, because this is not chess for me, you know. I mean, it's funny for little kids and stuff. Eric Hansen is still very young, but I think that bullet chess is just a waste of time. I mean, Magnus plays, you know, but he doesn't do it like addictively. He understands real chess and how important it is to be serious about chess. You won't catch me playing any bullet chess on here. And I want to get something out of all my games, you know. And I try to play quality games, not just trashy games. This guy is really pretty tough, 1800. Another player who's just new account, moving very, very fast. Black's a little bit better here, but it's not so easy. White has the bishop pair. I could play knight e4. I'm probably slightly better there, but it's not so easy. He takes, and then bishop b5 on my rook. Andrew Tang, deserving a GM title. I think one of his norms is a joke. Whether he's deserving of the GM title or not is not my decision. You know, I don't know him well enough to really answer that question, but I do think that people who get norms from tournaments where there wasn't a single player in the field, over 2200 is a joke. Okay, that's one of those rules that FIDE made that is just like an abomination. Some random junior tournament where there aren't even any foreign players and there's no titled players in the field. That's a GM norm? I don't think so. But I mean, maybe the guy is legitimately GM strength. Things like that shouldn't happen. You know, you should really have to earn 3 norms like everybody else did to get the GM title. But FIDE is making it easier. And the other point that you made about rich people getting titles, yeah, I mean, it's definitely true. I mean, people like in Hungary too. I think the only 2 significant grandmasters who've been produced here in the last 15 years are very, very wealthy. You know, it's really not a coincidence. All the other players who become GMs get stuck around like 2,500 or something. And chess has always been like that. I mean, you know, Morphy was rich. It's not really a coincidence. I mean, people who aren't rich don't have time to play chess all day, for the most part. So unfortunately, that's the case, and it always probably has been the case. Let's try this. I'm down to 2 minutes now. Being rich, yeah, and you definitely want to be single. Yeah, that's another good point by World Loser. You want to be rich. If you want to be a world-class grandmaster, you want to be rich. You want to have like no wife or girlfriend, probably. Maybe a girlfriend, but it can't be like, too serious. But no, it's like, I mean it, like the only 2 really super talents here in Hungary are both extremely rich. There's like 20 other players who became GMs, but none of them have the money to go to like all the exclusive tournaments like Gibraltar and Isle of Man and all these tournaments where you have to spend like, I don't know, $1,500 to even play, unless you're a GM. It's really sad. But the GM title is really devalued now. I mean, all the titles are devalued. FIDE Master is nothing. IM is much easier to get, and the GM is much easier to get. But you need to have money to go to tournaments and stuff like that. And obviously, I'd love to play in Gibraltar, the Isle of Man, tournaments in like these United Arab Emirates or something. But you need a lot of cash to play in those. Fischer was, obviously a massive genius. He wasn't wealthy. That's true. I mean, there are definitely exceptions. But, if you look at Kasparov and Karpov, they were coming from a state-sponsored system. So things were totally different there. That was more about, like, connections and power than being wealthy. But Fischer definitely, not financially well off necessarily. But I think the Grandmaster title should be harder to get, not easier. They just make it easier. These regional like junior tournaments counting as norm tournaments and stuff, it's ridiculous. There's no way that should happen. Okay, 94 take. I'm getting distracted now. I don't have that much here. This guy's pretty strong. I mean, it's hard to say because, again, a lot of stuff is behind the scenes, but every time I look at a variation, he's got some way out. I like the way he's played. I don't have much time. I'm a little distracted talking about stuff, but I just don't really have anything here. I've never played this player before, but he seems pretty tough. Okay, I'm getting kind of distracted. I'm a little tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I took a cold medicine. And it had like caffeine in it, so I'm kind of a little bit loopy and talking and getting angry about stuff like FIDE. I don't want to get too emotional. My rating is like 2360 something now. I lost like 17 points. Don't talk about my rating. Are you talking to me? Let's not talk about my rating. It's just embarrassing, and I'm not in a good confidence mode now after my last tournament. My rating is 100 points below my maximum, you know, so I'm pretty much disgusted with myself. But it's not easy. You remember Eric Hansen seating? There were some Russian players rated over 2,600 untitled. They don't want to give FIDE any more money than they have to. Well, it's not them personally who has to give the money to FIDE, dude. Well, it shouldn't be anyway. I mean, most federations will like pay for your title. I would hope that the Russia would at least pay for GM titles. I would think so. I mean, it's like an honor to have a grandmaster in your federation. It's very strange. You know, I know a lot of people who wouldn't pay when the U.S. Chess Federation was like making people pay for the FM title, which is sort of disgusting. For example, and this guy is strong, dude. I'm like slightly worse now. He's up 2 minutes and he's better. He's like a bishop expert. Very, very solid with the structure and fast too. But it's a new account, so we can't really give his rating much credibility. You know, 60 games. Maybe he's playing on a touchpad, although he seems pretty fast actually. He's a very, very solid 1886. I couldn't do anything. It was kind of a positional game, but I've got nothing here. It's probably equal at best. Yeah, I hate FIDE too, but it's the only game in town. I don't hate FIDE. I mean, I hate the fact that it's controlled by Kirsan and all these corrupt, like, mafiosos. Although it was corrupt in the first place before as well. I don't like my position. I don't even know what I'm doing here. He's got a minute more than me. His pieces are always protected, like no matter what I do. I probably should have played like bishop f8 and tried to draw or something last move. Every one of his pieces is always protected. This guy is monstrously strong for his rating. Although he's not really doing anything, he has a solidity that you don't see with players of this rating. It's like playing James Tarjan and being Kramnik. You know, Tarjan lost. I mean, Tarjan beat Kramnik at the Isle of Man, basically kind of playing like White did in this game, creating no weaknesses, double fianchetto, waiting for Kramnik to try to do something, and then Kramnik missed the tactic, and actually, like, what happened? White resigned. White resigned? Alright. That's strange. White resigned for no apparent reason in an equal position. Something Tarjan wouldn't have done against Kramnik. I've got nothing here. This guy just played really well. And he's like a minute ahead on the clock. I mean, I don't know what you call this opening. This is really strange. Karajitsa. The Karajitsa attack. Not a bad, you know, place to be. It's weird stuff. One other game. But the way he played, you know, it's so solid for a player of 1800. I liked it. Though maybe there you should go back to g2. I'm not sure about where to retreat the bishop. But I like... Don't have much of an advantage. Here he had knight c4. I missed the tactic with knight fg4. How does that work? Does anybody understand? I did not see this. I saw it, but I didn't look far enough. Like take, king g2, queen takes a1. There's even queen takes d1. Oh man, I didn't look that far. Too distracted. So I had a win, but that was a weird tactic. He didn't want to lose the a pawn, but my b7 pawn's hanging. You know, he resigned. That's weird. This is hanging too, you know. Okay, he has a tactic there. That's true. I have a tactic there. I mean, you can play bishop takes f6. I mean, even this position is like impossible for white to lose. You play this. Okay, not impossible. I take it back. All right. But his two bishops are so strong. Even that alone is enough. It's just weird. I guess he had to go. I wasn't happy with my game. Chess guy. All right, chess guy finally gets to play. Chess guy, shouldn't you be like at school or something? Lance 5500 is a strong player. I mean, the guy is IM strength. There's no question about it. I think you're supposed to be at school. All right. But I'm sorry if I'm being too chessically political today. I just didn't sleep enough last night, and I'm kind of grumpy. I don't know how we got on the subject of FIDE in the first place. Could have another Najdorf. Well, let's play something different. I like g3, but not as much in the e5 type of structures, to be honest. I like g3 in the Scheveningen type of structures with e6. What do you do to improve yourself, sir? I don't know, Excellented. I think it's not working. I've been kind of stuck for a while, but my life is very complicated. I had a lot of personal problems at one point, and then that really held me back. Then I got distracted by playing poker. I was doing poker for like 5 or 7 years, almost no chess at all, and that's the second problem that I've faced. The first one was a lot of personal problems, and the second one was, once I got clear of that, I started really getting into poker and playing poker full time, you know, and so in the last 8 years, I mean, only the last 2, I've really started to focus on chess again, and it's only becoming really clear to me now, you know, how I'm not back to, you know, maybe the level I was maybe 7 years ago. I'm still, even though I'm doing streaming and I'm playing some tournaments here and there, I just don't think that I'm fully back. You know, I'm not as strong as I was probably 10 years ago. So I'm trying to improve, but it's not an easy going here. I'm going to bring the knight back to b3. It's not necessarily forced right here. Maybe it would be more accurate to play a5 and then on knight c6 pull my knight back. But at the end of the day, a5 is very committal, and I'm not sure I really want to do that. Because if I do a5, he can always play rook b8 and b6. So it's kind of hard to call. Grandmaster Nick DeFermian plays the stuff with white. I actually had, you know, chess guy's position probably with black against Nick in a U.S. Open in Philadelphia in 1994, I think. Maybe the same exact position, most likely. something like this. Chess guy, it's not winter break here. In Hungary, I think all the kids are back in school. Bishop d7. Well, I appreciate your offer, World Loser, but my deep feeling is that I'm the one that needs me to improve, needs to help me to improve. You know, I think I'm the problem. You know, if it's about me needing to improve. If I teach people, you know, some of them improve and some of them don't. You know, and why is that? People ask me, like, can you help me get better at chess? Maybe, maybe not. You know, you have to do a lot of the work. I think that's the secret. World Loser can try to help me, but at the end of the day, you know, it's like only you can help you improve. You know what I mean? Like a teacher can't improve you. I think most of my problems are not knowledge problems, but like psychological and other problems. You know, nerves, psychology, and maybe I'm just getting Alzheimer's. I don't know, but A5 should be considered at this point. He's got B6 though. I'm always behind on the clock because I don't play bullet and I don't play enough 3-minute. Now, after the big spiel I gave about how I hate bullet chess, it destroys chess and it's bad for you, I'm going to turn around and say I think that stuff like 3-minute chess is actually good to a certain extent. So I want to make a distinction between playing fast blitz like 5-0, even 3-0, and playing garbage like 1-minute games where you're just hanging your pieces, you know. I think that blitz is very, very good, and it improves important skills like thinking quickly, which I haven't been playing, and I think this is one of the things that's hurting my game lately. I'm having bad results because I'm getting in time pressure every freaking game, and then I'm losing games directly because of time pressure. I'm dropping pawns on move 35. It happened to me in 2 games against GMs in the last tournament where I was okay. 3 games actually, where I was basically in okay positions in vicious time pressure between move 30 and move 39. I just like drop a pawn and lose in drawable, basically close to equal drawable positions. I can't get in that kind of time pressure anymore, and I think one of the things and one of the reasons why I'm having this problem, yeah, I'm playing a lot of this 7+3 and I'm playing slow and trying to think, and it's good, but I'm not playing any kind of sudden death, you know, any kind of 5-0, 3-0. It's actually good, you know. So I want to qualify my comments about bullet chess, and I'm not claiming that blitz is bad for you and sudden death blitz is bad for you. I think 1-0 is ridiculous and it's too much, you know, but I think that if you change it to something like 3-0 and you start playing a lot of that, that can be very good training. But anyway, my other lecture was about here, basically about, you know, you gotta be the one. I'm not going to be able to help you improve by yourself. I'm not going to help you improve automatically. And World Loser can't help me to get better. I've got to help me to get better. I've got to do a lot of the work, and that's the key. Now I need to play more blitz. Yeah, World Loser's right. You do need another perspective. I think that's good. That's a good point. They don't have to be a GM. A lot of the best trainers in the world aren't grandmasters. Mark Dvoretsky wasn't a grandmaster, you know, but he was one of the best trainers in the world. But having a second perspective is really an important key to improving your game. I agree. You can't do it all by yourself. And like Fischer tried to do that. All right, chess guy, you can have a take back. Guys, I think we're going to have time for, well, one more game after this. Fischer tried to be like a one-man, you know, army. He had help, though, from a few other players, like, I don't know, you know, Lombardi and some people, but maybe Zuckerman. But he still basically almost didn't share anything, you know. Fischer was an exception. You know, I think that you need a trainer or helper or a friend. The best improvement I ever made in chess was when I was working a lot with a friend of mine. But I think that strong players get selfish about their knowledge and stuff, and so they don't want to like share their hard-earned knowledge with other people. Of course you can repeat the same mistakes. What about the bullet for opening practice? You get to play many games. Dude, how much do you think your opponents are going to play quality games in bullet chess in the opening? Forget about it, man. No. You're playing... I know Grandmaster who plays e4, d6, e5 with the white pieces in bullet chess. I mean, that's what... People are degenerating to playing bad moves on purpose in bullet chess. 1 in 100 games you'll actually get something relevant. There's nothing wrong with playing 3-0 or 5-0. No, I don't think so. Alright, this is annoyingly difficult to make progress here. We're just up in exchange, but... It's tempting to overextend myself with g4, g5. How about this move? Just step by step, Karpovian style, trying to control more squares, 1 square at a time. Mrs. Milton says, what? Yeah, we've been on this subject before. I'm not going to rehash that. They're talented players. They have a lot of money, resources, trainers. I don't think that Andrew Tang is 2,500 FIDE because of playing bullet chess. You know, I think that he's 2,500 FIDE despite all he does is bullet chess. I don't think the cause and effect is Magnus Carlsen is not world champion because he plays bullet chess. He's world champion despite the fact that he plays bullet chess. But I think there are a lot of players, and I mentioned this earlier, a certain Hungarian grandmaster who I see on here playing bullet constantly. They're absolutely wasting their time. Andrew Tang is wasting his time playing bullet chess. He could like legitimately, you know, try to be like a top GM if he would knock that out and start like really studying, you know, only studying chess theory and studying like games, and there's a lot more constructive things he could do with his time. But I'm not his coach, you know, and I really don't care what he does. That's all I have to say about that. Chess guy's hanging on there. It's hard to actually make progress here because it's so closed. My rooks like open positions, and there's no open line. There's no mutually open file here. All right, what are we going to do now? Slowly encroach on the king side. This is really tough to break him down. Man, maybe knight a4. If I'm not hanging something. I'm pretty tired. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't really sleep very well last night. So I'm kind of prone to making tactical blunders, or at least like taking a long time to see things that I normally would see faster right now. I'm just happy to exchange some pieces. But objectively, that was his bad B, so maybe not optimal for me to trade that off. Maybe not the optimal decision. And everybody's faster than me. That's not an accomplishment. To be faster than me is, especially today. I am not really fully here. Daytime cold medicine has caffeine in it, kids. And just remember that. I'm just going to warn you now. The next time you try to take daytime cold medicine at night, just remember what happened to me. You're going to end up like a zombie, basically, which is the way I feel right now. So, any time victories today are like with an asterisk next to them. I'm much slower than even I would normally be for today. Chess Guide, this is a new account. I normally don't play new accounts, but this is a player who we played under a different account. Chess Guy's his big problem is that he makes one move blunders. This is another case of that. No more takebacks. You used your takeback, all right. What in the world is that? I think that Mrs. Milton should be on the forum rather than in the stream here. I guess I should have sacrificed my knight, but I got distracted. I'm not really into forum posts on my stream. Maybe you should go to the lichess forum and knock out some forum posts there. All right, let's try to break through with c4. I'm not really into philosophical, 100 character forum posts here. It's a little hard to play with 20 seconds while answering your extremely interesting comment. There's nothing dogmatic about considering bullet chess to be garbage. I think that it is, dude. There's a lot of world champions who would laugh at the concept if they were alive today. I'll be with them. And proud to be with them. And dogmatic. Internet chess is a waste of time. Well, now you're really getting full philosophical, Yes, like breathing is a waste of time too, if you really want to think about it. But that, that's neither here nor there. Breathing is a waste of time, You can also say that. Oh man, what am I up a rook now? Oh, he saw that. What isn't a waste of time, You can qualify anything as a waste of time. Loving is a waste of time. This is a stupid conversation. Totally arbitrary. All of it. Hate is a waste of time. Love is a waste of time. Internet chess is a waste of time. What do you qualify as not a waste of time? Like making money for multi-million-dollar corporations? The focus of my chess stream is to help people get better at chess. I think, in my opinion, that bullet chess is a waste of time. I really believe that, If you don't that's fine too. Whatever. I can only give you the best advice that I can. Alright, we're finally going to take this one down, and we've got one more game to go. Chess guy, very fast. I got to give you credit. You put up good resistance there. Wasting time is a waste of time. Alright. I've only got a limited amount of years left, so I'm not going to waste them playing bullet chess. That's all I know. I'm going to try to like play a form of chess that I can actually, you know, really use my powers of thought, you know, not play purely on intuition as fast as my mouse can click. I want to actually think and concretely learn while playing, and try to teach other people to do the same. Trying to move. I almost pre-moved. Accelerated Dragon, last game today. A friend of mine showed me an interesting idea in the mainline Accelerated Dragon, which isn't going to happen here. Now, someone is asking, like, can you practice your openings in bullet chess? I can't even practice my openings in 5-minute chess on lichess. So you can rest assured that bullet chess is not going to help you improve your openings. That's actually the one department where I can almost categorically say you're not going to improve. I can't even get theoretical positions here in 5-0 or even 5-3. Like here, Milan Karat playing bishop d3. I mean, this doesn't even exist as a move theoretically. But anyway, it's probably not that bad. It doesn't lose material. d5 allows a lot of simplification. So we'll just go with a kind of normal. I'm not going to castle kingside right away. We'll keep the option open. I was thinking of doing a video series about imbalances, and when I was thinking about like different concepts to present and how to create imbalances, I think that like castling on opposite sides and delayed castling, that's probably one of the like 5 top things you can do to imbalance a chess game, basically. Now we have something with knight g4. Actually, why didn't I play that last move? Oh, because it dropped a piece. Okay, it doesn't drop a piece. But last move it just traded a couple pieces. Now it's actually concretely good. But let's calculate. Knight g4, knight c6, knight e3. Yeah, I think this is okay. Right. No, I don't think that chess theory is a problem. Fisher, believed that, but I think it's fine. Then maybe a different game we can play altogether, like tic-tac-toe or something else. We can play chess 960. I don't enjoy it though, to be honest with you. I enjoy chess opening theory. I think it's interesting and it's far from played out. I think the computers are actually helping us to research further and play the openings more correctly. Why don't you try to force d5 in the hyper-accelerated dragon? Good question, Gasto. Because While I would do that against a strong player, the problem is that if you play that way against weaker players, they're gonna like vacuum the board and trade all the pieces and draw. So I have a policy about like not doing d5 against lower rated players. But it was an excellent question, sir. So here we have an interesting position. Yeah, I mean, I think we can just go with the static capture on c3. But you don't have to. If you love your dark squared bishop, I can also do something like, it looks like e6 probably, and king e7. And the bishop on g7 is a good defender and attacker too. So we can make a case for not taking on c3. I think they're both interesting. Yeah, Gasto gets the best question award for the day. You know, rather than trying to have philosophical arguments, he's actually focusing on the game, which is the point of my stream. You know, so thank you, Gasto, for pointing the stream in the right direction. There are a lot of argumentative people who just want to, like, you know, have forum debates wherever they go. I really want to just focus on analyzing and playing chess and helping people improve. So we can actually talk about the position and ask a relevant question about the game at hand. Thank you for doing that. Rook b1, this is kind of hope chess. He's waiting for me to take, so his rook will be active along the file. So naturally, I should probably, you know, not want to cooperate in that. He's also defending his b pawn, you know, okay. So he can move his knight. It's a good move, actually. White has a slightly worse position. And we're going to try to grind him in this kind of ending. I like this kind of endgame. I've won more endgames with two bishops than probably any other kind of position in chess. We could probably start a second front here on the king side. I might want to leave my rook where it is and try to begin action. Whoop, nice arrow. Nice action. Now he did a very risky thing there. You're opening up the position. I think for the two bishops, that's good for me. Normally I can play faster, but today after the cold medicine, I was in no position to be in time pressure. Are you more likely to beat a 2800 player in classical? Okay, any kind of time control dude that's faster is going to be more random. That's pretty much it. The faster the time control, the more random the result. Still, stronger players should win, you know, the vast majority of the time. But, of course, your chances of beating a grandmaster in a rapid game are much better than in any time. Are always going to be better in a rapid game than in a classical game. And that's why I hate the fact that FIDE, you know, also the number of games, like the FIDE World Championship match. It's stupid that it's like, you know, only 12 games. I mean, that's ridiculous. Much more random than it should be. So guys, we're going to wrap up the stream here on this game. White's pretty much toast on the king side. We got bishop c6, and the two bishops are looking really good. Having hallucinations is a sure sign that you're tired. I'm like, oh my god, he has knight f5. Yeah. Now we're on the h2, and now he does have it. Damn it. Oh no. Two bishops against a rook. This might not be that easy to win. He had knight f5 check last move, and I calculated it, and I decided to go for it anyway. But maybe the easiest thing to do here would be to move my king again. We could just pull the rook back and keep massaging, for one thing. I think that's probably a solid option. But what I'm amazed by on lichess, a lot of you guys are very competent at what you do, especially like World Loser. His style, he plays fast, he's good at what he does, okay. But there are a lot of beginners on the site who start playing like bullet chess, and then they develop this very bad habit that every game they play too fast and they don't use their time, you know. You have to learn to be a good player before you can play fast. You have to learn that playing good moves has to be the priority. Playing fast is the secondary priority. But I think that your first priority should be to play good moves. And a lot of people don't know that. They were never taught that that's more important. They think it's just important to move fast. But it's not enough. You know, you have to play good moves before you can play fast. Priorities are all wrong with a lot of people. Is E2 or F3 the best place for the knight in this opening? Well, that's a matter of style, you know. I mean, some people play the closed Sicilian, but F3 is generally accepted as the best way to play the white side of the Sicilian. I mean, that's just standard. The knight is more active on F3. In most cases in the opening, I mean, we can find the best moves by just very basic, straightforward application of general principles. I mean, the knight on F3 controls 2 central squares. A knight on E2 only controls 1. So your question is answered, you know, straight up with general principles. Putting into practice is another thing, but I think that there's no question. You know, these two bishops are vicious here. There's any number of ways to win this position. I'm just going to play F4. No, actually, F4 doesn't work now. I guess here, just increasing the pressure on E4 to the maximum. Now we have Rook G8, and it's over. We got this one. And no way to defend. Okay, Milan Karai. Good start, but you weakened your king side with F4. I mean, everything was kind of okay until that. Yeah. When I played G5, I'm trying to start a second front, and he basically makes it easier for me. At this point, I move 15. Like, White's position is probably defensible here with excellent play. You know, he could probably draw with very good play, but if you play after F4, you're opening the king side, and you're opening the position for my bishops. So I'm better. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against playing for fun. You know, if that's all you're playing for, fine. You know, that's fine. But there are a lot of people who don't know that, you know. And a lot of people who delude themselves. But that's my focus anyway. I want to get better. It's my personal struggle to get better at chess. And I'm trying to help the others who are trying to do the same, you know. So, anyway, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night. I've got a viewer tournament. I think we're scheduled for blitz, like 5+2 viewer tournament tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. CET. So that's the schedule. Next stream Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. CET blitz tournament, 5+2 casual chess here. Thank you guys for watching. You were pretty well behaved. I didn't have to ban anybody, which is always nice. But sorry if I was a little grumpy today. I definitely didn't sleep enough last night, so wasn't quite in my best humor. Also a little bit ill. We will be back Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Thursday night subscriber stream, and Friday morning. Next Sunday, another simul as we had last night. So anyway, thanks to you guys who do subscribe to the stream. I really appreciate it. A lot of people support me with subscriptions, and also occasionally we get PayPal donations, which is always appreciated. Not obligated, but definitely appreciated. Every little bit helps to keep me doing this. And that's it. So anyway, instructive, interesting games today. Some interesting discussion. And again, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I will be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Hopefully healthier and better rested for not taking daytime cold medicine during the night. I will see you guys later, and peace. Bye-bye.